Hello, nerds, and welcome. We are Crossing the Nerdverse, bringing you yet another episode. My name is Travis. I'm joined, as always, by my fantastic co-host, and Ryan, who's back and survived the assassination attempt from Clark, as we covered last week. So, good to see that you survived.
My ordeals have left me scarred and malformed.
Oh, what is that from?
Star Wars.
Star Wars. I was like, I recognize that speech. I'm a terrible nerd, is what I've just determined. But from that,
we're gonna
From here, we're gonna hop right into the reading, watching, playing, and we'll start with the Clarkinator.
I am still reading through the Zodiac Academy books. I'm on book 2. I trust no one. I like no one. I don't know why I'm still reading it. The fandom has described this book series to me as like an insane car crash that once I get into it, I can no longer look away. So I'm like nervous and excited all at the same time.
Everybody likes a good car crash.
I mean, that's kind of the reason why I watch NASCAR. I'm like, crash, 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 crash.
Yeah.
But they're really, like, they're just cool to see. I understand that they're people and I feel bad for them, but they're just kind of cool to see.
They have the big safety things now.
Yeah, they got the big poofy vests that go poof.
Actually, the coolest invention on NASCAR, just getting into the science side of nerddom, is the little flappy doodles that pop up on the top of the car when they start to lose control that keep them grounded to prevent the flipping over. I always thought those things were absolutely fascinating.
Yeah, a lot of plane engineering has gone into them recently because they don't have the big foils that street race cars do.
Yeah, not like Boeing engineering. The doors don't just fly off because there's not any on NASCAR cars.
They use all their bolts. I really wanted the CEO Boeing to step down and hand somebody a bag of bolts. It would have been a bad taste joke, but he's like, I found these on the counter 3 years ago and I don't know where they go. Playing
the idea of plane making.
Yeah. Still playing Genshin Impact. I'm trying to collect enough Paimons to pull for someone. I'm still learning how to spend money in the game. I haven't figured it out. So I've spent nothing, but it's a fun game. So I understand why people like it. And then watching this new season of anime is an isekai lover's dream. Today I started How to Love Your Elf Bride, and it's actually kind of super cute. I was expecting it to be really ecchi, but it's not. It's very adorable.
I was getting a real ecchi vibe from that title.
Yeah, same. I was like, oh no, but I tried it. I liked it.
I couldn't help but notice that Ryan stopped writing the title down when you got past it. It's not very ecchi. He was just like, no tentacles, no game.
No tentacles.
Hey, I know what life.
I like. And there's quite a few other ones that I really like. Remonster is kind of coming into its own, and who's the other? Slime. Konosuba had a weird first episode, but I will give Darkness every single chance. I will watch Darkness until the end of time. Yeah, that's about it for me. Sorry, long-winded.
Ryan, welcome back to, like I said, to the land of the living, and welcome back from your travels from Oklahoma. I hope your kiddos did great at their science competition.
Yeah, do they win? Do you win a science competition?
So the type of competition she was in, there was a winner, so to speak. There was a group of winners. Her presentation did not make it into the top tier, so no, she didn't win. But she did do very, very well. She's garnered a lot of attention from the people that were there to see it. Truth be told, what surprised me most about the entire situation was how hush-hush everything seemed to be. Because there was a lot of NDA stuff, and you weren't allowed to go during these times, and parents and viewers weren't allowed except for between these windows. And so that was a lot of fun. We made a lot of CIA jokes.
I was going to say, what kind of science were y'all presenting?
Well, and bear in mind, this is only a guess, but we did learn that the competition is actually going to appear on Disney Plus on a television program. So I'm thinking it has something to do with the production of that. But yeah, that was a lot of fun. And then, of course, immediately got sick. And so if I am struggling tonight, obviously my voice isn't back to 100%. So I need everybody to just be patient with me. And as far as the game goes tonight, if y'all need anything repeated, don't hesitate to ask.
Does your shirt say Los Angeles County Jail?
It sure does.
Okay. I was like, I know I recognize that.
I threw a lab coat on over the top of it so I can play Mission Control tonight.
That's fair.
Don't look too
Okay.
deeply into it.
Clark's like, I've been to LA County Jail. It's not bad. It's, as far as jails go.
I
I
used
really
to
want to make a
live
political joke, but I'm not gonna.
smart. I used to live by the one right above Valencia in California. Like I grew up in Valencia, and there was the big prison right above us. So I was like, yeah, that looks familiar.
Oh, there you go.
Orange
Yeah, as far
jumpsuits.
as reading, watching, playing goes, you'll have to forgive me. I just had a major malfunction of some of my equipment here. As far as reading goes, I'm still making my way through the Mossverse stuff.
What are you on? What are you on? Tell us. Tell us. Tell us.
I am
And by
on.
us, I mean me.
I'm currently on. I believe it's book 3. It's Wings and something.
A
Wings
Court
and
of
Ruin?
Wings and Ruin. Oh, okay. Okay. Who's your
Indeed.
favorite Bat Boy?
I mean, considering there's one paragon of man, I have
Cassian.
to.
Understandable.
But no, I am enjoying it. It has been an interesting ride. It is not my normal kind of book, but my wife absolutely loved it, and so I've been making my way through it, and it has been quite an enjoyable run. As far as playing, I'm currently having to split my time because, and I'm going to blame Clark for this. I know it's not your department, but I'm blaming you anyway. Because I've been spending a lot of time at the Mothman Equinox on Fallout 76 because it is that time of year,
It's
and I never
Mothman season.
I never miss a Mothman Equinox. And then you decided to release Into the Light right in the middle of Mothman Equinox. It is so very good. It's lots of fantastic content, and the reason I'm blaming you is because the one complaint I had about this interim season is that there wasn't enough Eris Morn, who is Bay. And then you decided to give me more Eris Morn, who is Bay, and now I don't have anything to complain about.
Have you seen the Final Shape stuff?
I have. I've been watching it
This
very
looks
dutifully.
so
So
good.
excited.
Like, we got to play it. I'm not gonna lie, the hype is real. Like, I don't
cannot
usually
wait
like
for it to get
Destiny
here.
2 stuff. I'm a
This is
D1
your
person.
insider information too,
but-
by the way. This is it. This is it.
They showed like playtest during the stream, but like, it's fun.
Oh yeah. Well, the new prismatic stuff they revealed at the. Oh man, I'm so excited.
It just looks so
Um,
good.
And as far as watching goes, all of it's out the window now because Fallout is finally available on Amazon Prime, and
Is it good?
It is so good. So I didn't have any faith in it, zero faith, because the visuals did not look great on like the trailers and stuff. And I thought the casting decisions were interesting. And then they were saying, "Oh, it's not going to be part of the established canon."
Oh,
The reason they had to say all of that stuff is because of the content of the show, which I'm not going to go over because no spoilers. I will tell you right now, I sat down to watch the pilot and immediately could not stop watching until 4 o'clock in the morning. It was amazing. Highly recommend. I'm absolutely in love with it.
Binge worthy.
Yeah.
All right,
Um,
Eric. Reading, watching, playing. What you got?
Robbie seconds your thing about Fallout. Said it's amazing. So I'm reading the newest Dragonlance novel, because they brought back Raceland and Sturm. Spoilers. And then I'm still fighting for democracy, because there's nothing better than
Helldivers.
blowing up bugs. I still have yet to get to automatons. I know everybody. I'm avoiding them. And
I heard they're a
watching.
massive tier up in difficulty.
Yeah, well, supposedly, like, they just took over a whole bunch of. I haven't played the last few days, but supposedly, after we got rid of them, they came back and, like, destroyed a bunch of stuff. So now they're on a whole bunch of planets and everything. Whatever. I've seen Terminator. They don't win.
Damned Necrons.
And then, so for watching, it would be Ninja Kamui. And I don't know, the name of the anime is, like, Ragna something. About a guy that,
Record of
like, becomes
Ragnarok?
one. No, Ragna he becomes one with a sword. And he fights dragons. It's pretty cool. If I can, I really liked it. And that loser, what's that?
Does he have white hair?
Yeah.
Okay, I know what you're talking about, and I can't remember.
He combines with his future self.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet. The storyline's really good. The fighting's kind of just because I really like Demon Slayer, so it's hard to compare. And also that new Power Ranger knockoff show, rather interesting.
Loser Ranger, I think it's called,
Yeah.
or something like that. Yeah. It's like Dark Power Rangers. It's really good.
Yeah.
Go Lugia Ranger. That's it.
So those are what I'm watching.
I am wrapping up season 2 of Reacher. I'm way behind on watching television shows, but having a baby does kind of take away some of your evening activity, especially when you try to cram in gym time and then dinner and speaking to your spouse. It's hard to just sit down and binge a TV show. But reading, I did pick up my Warhammer book again, so I'm still trying to get through the Wolf Time, even though the names still drive me insane with Astopicus and Astarticus and all the other faux Latin ridiculous punny names.
Walking puns, yeah.
Yeah, they're so bad. Like, some of the names are just so awful on them. But it's finally starting to pick up some, like, intrigue and interest. It just was kind of a slog from where we were at. And then for playing, I'm still hammering my way through Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Having Witcher 3 syndrome with it, where I'm like, ooh, side quest, ooh, flower picking, ooh, crafting, ooh, fishing, ooh, dolphin racing, ooh, side quest. I'm like, oh yeah, there's a main mission here. I should probably start saving the world, I guess, until the next flower picking mission shows up, and then I'm like skipping off to go collect bits and bops. But with that, Ryan, are you ready?
I am prepared. Let's get to it.
Let's do it.
All right. Quick gear check. Everybody's got dice. Everybody's got cards. Everybody's got
Yes.
character sheets.
Yes.
All right.
I have most of those things.
Same disclaimer as always, guys. We're going to be going into part 2 of what is quickly becoming my new favorite tabletop RPG system, Substratum Protocol. For those of you that missed part 1, I encourage you to go back and watch it. We are going to be picking up with only the briefest explanation of what happened. So be sure and check out that previous episode. Additional disclaimers. Me and Travis have played together for a very long time, and you might hear lingo, slang terms, or shorthand for many things that come up. The ones that I'm going to refer to most often is going to be souls. If I say a soul, I'm referring to a character sheet. And if I say rocks, I am referring to shiny math rocks, i.e. the dice. So,
magical math rocks made clickety clacks.
All right. Each of your characters.
Wild side tangent. Sorry. I did pretty good on all my picks for WrestleMania, so if you haven't watched my WrestleMania episode, I did fairly well. I missed, I think, maybe 3 matches.
Oh, fantastic.
The rest of it, I'm batting pretty solid on. I think it was about a good 80%.
I did bad.
Right. You did very bad.
I did.
Clark
so
follows
as we
me
go
on most
forward,
things.
I am going to refer to you guys to pages 8 and 9 of our rule books. This is going to be a good, quick reference for you. It's a fantastic spread page in the book that's going to cover how all of your skill checks will work and what actions you can take outside of your listed skills. Additionally, it gives you a full breakdown of your suit's systems. So keep that open and in mind as we continue to play. Should be pretty easy as we go along. As a reminder, your characters have a distinct goal in mind. You are now the elite team sent down to literally save the planet. The planet is broken. It's not breaking, it's broken. Barely being held together under its own gravity, and you have to figure out what's causing it and why. The only thing you have to go on is that something near the core that they refer to simply as the portal, which you recently learned was something of a leap by the scientists on the surface, is causing some problems. You're going to be descending through what Mission Control has told you is up to 10 different layers of instability as you approach this portal. Each layer could hold potential clues that will lead you and your people to better understanding.
Your internet, just so you know, got a little squiggly squaggly.
A little squiggly. Well, we do have a little bit of a storm going, so if I need to repeat anything, don't hesitate to tell me.
I got the gist of it.
Yeah. That's really all you need, right? It's just a highly intense scientific mission where the details matter.
I work off a general vibe anyway. I'm that kind of scientist. I'm just kind of like, yeah.
I'm used to bad comma.
Okie dokie. When last we left off, you and your team in your brand new DSPRT Mark I survey suits descended on a cabled pod into the breach, the fracture, the opening. When you reached the bottom, you heard the explosive release of the anchoring bolts on the outside of your pod. You are currently in radio contact with Mission Control, but it has already started to fail. The standard check-ins and protocols for when you make landfall at the bottom of the fracture are already wrapped in static and inconsistencies. Let me
Just
make
like
sure
your
here.
actual comms.
Yeah, just like my actual comms. It's very in character. Dr. Franklin, relax.
It's me.
Within this static, you haven't even stepped out of your pod yet. And already within this static and this garbled nonsense that you're getting from Mission Control, you can hear something at the edge of it. Something that stands out, unique, against the white noise. It's like a voice, familiar, but just out of range. Something that you desire, but you can't quite make out.
Interesting. What does it tell me?
So, I'm not going to have you make a check on that, but as you strain against the white noise, the voices are not even forming words that you're familiar with. It has to be some part of the garble, or perhaps it's simply your imagination underneath this already incredibly stressful venture. It could just be remnants of the bizarre music that your pod controller turned on as you started to descend. It just doesn't feel right. The easiest explanation is probably to write it off as your imagination. All right. Most of you have already released your restraints and dropped to your pod with a clangor and begun to step out of the explosively ejected door. The area that you step out into is a little plain, a little boring for what you were expecting. For how much this place was supposed to be bizarre or go against your understanding and psyche or change the way that you're going to view physics, you step out into a rocky terrain that could be the remnants of any cave or any blast zone. It's relatively flat, but all over are boulders and debris, piles of dirt and dust. Most of it stirred up by your sudden landing. Yes, Clark.
Is there anything continuously like falling on us, or is there like anything coming in from the atmosphere?
So there is indeed a little bit coming in from the atmosphere. You and your characters are currently under the very lightest rain. It's just enough to make small pitter-patter sounds on the domes of your suits and begin to trail down the transparent titanium in little rivulets. It's the type of rain that frustrates people. It's just enough to make your car muddy, but not enough to clean it off.
Is it coming in the suit
Thanks.
at all?
It is not coming within
No.
your suit.
Is it acid rain? We don't know, I guess.
Your
Okay,
suit's
so-
sensors don't tell you of any acidic or base reaction in the rain.
Okay. So I remember last time, Sorry, I have to look at the notes that my cat tried eating right before this game. Dr. Knight. So he told us that the only way we can extract is to remove all of those 4 Peggy things. So I would like to start removing 2 of my Peggy things preemptively.
Oh, gonna attempt to preemptively remove it. Okay.
Yes, I want to like remove 2 on opposite sides of each other. So we're going diagonals. And then I kind of want to loosen the other ones because I have this vibe that it's going to be a quick escape. So I would like to do that. Please.
You step out into the muck and into the rain and begin immediately moving towards the anchors. Are you going to communicate your intent to your team?
I mean, I was gonna do the same thing. So
Yeah, I'll be nice scientist or whatever. I'll be like, hey guys, remember that Dr. Knight said this, and I'm just doing this preemptively. You do you. I don't want to tell you how to live your lives. And then I'm just gonna go about doing it, like with a hammer. I'm 3D printing a hammer. I don't know.
I'm
Well, the
using
good
my
news
laser
is
cutter.
Oh God.
you do have a
We
laser
print
cutter.
things.
Additionally, your suit's capabilities should make releasing the
Oh, okay.
anchors pretty simple.
So then I would
The
like to go
kicker
around and
is-
just punch them.
Yeah. So this has been communicated. Obviously, for you two, Dr. Conway is going to preemptively remove some of the anchors for your escape pod. Swiftly, you said you were doing the same thing.
Yeah, laser cutting.
Relax.
So-
What about you?
I'm not going to do anything.
Okay. So the anchors themselves are a fairly simple, if robust, contraption. There are indeed 4 of them on your pod. And what they appear to be is a 45 angle kind of harpoon release. And you can see that there was a long post that has been driven into the ground. And at the top of the post is effectively a carabiner with a breakaway end that's painted red with a yellow circle in the middle that attaches to a heavy cable and your pod. That cable appears to be the only thing really holding anything in place. And so detaching that cable from the anchor, whether with a laser cutter or by simply exerting some force with your suit, it's a fairly simple manner to take care of it. The reason I bring it up is because you also said you were talking about loosening the other ones. And so given the fact that it's actually you're severing a steel cable in order to get it done, are you going to just kind of damage it a little and hope that it holds, or how are you going to go about doing that? You going to attempt to physically loosen the harpoon?
a little bit. We
Now-
can hear you a little. Came in and out.
We've already been sabotaged by Xenos. This
Yep.
mission is going so well.
See, comms is important. It's good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we got you. We got you good.
As I was hoovering my burritos.
Yeah, I saw you horking
Um,
down a bean and cheese burrito.
So hungry. So yeah, you're going to watch me consume 5 of those probably. You can keep count.
Don't worry, that's going to be a fantastic TikTok later. Trust us.
Boom. Yeah, it doesn't sound like I can really loosen them. Like, it doesn't sound like there's a way to like make them quicker to escape, but it sounds like it's pretty easy. So I'm just gonna leave the other 2. I won't try and
Okay.
loosen them.
So 2 anchors remain. You'll cut one. Obviously, we have Swiftly with his laser cutter is going to sever the other. There is one other failsafe, one redundancy meant to protect you and your team. At each kind of elbow where the harpoon's attached to your pod at large, there is an emergency release that severs the entire elbow, the entire anchoring apparatus.
I feel like this
From
was
the
information
pod
I needed
itself.
to know beforehand. Yeah.
Well, it's definitely a last resort, and you were not informed about it on the surface. When you're looking at it, what it does is it causes the entire armored panel that it anchors to detach from your pod.
Okay, now I'm feeling better about my choice because I feel like I'm gonna want the armored panel while flying through space towards the little station. Okay.
Indeed.
Feeling better.
Now, as you and Dr. McSwiftly are working, relax. You're kind of out front. You're kind of examining the area, remaining a little bit vigilant, listening to those voices. And all 3 of you can already hear the difference. You've been on the ground for maybe 5 minutes as you've got to work, and you can hear that cable on the top of your pod almost ringing metallically as its tension ripples up and down. And yes, Dr. Relax.
I would like to send out the strongest pulse that I can without damaging the machinery from my Pathfinder tool,
All right, sending
so I
out
can
from your
start
Pathfinder
mapping
tool.
this. And I'm
Okay,
going to
go
do the
ahead.
oh no, bye Clark.
I'm sure she'll be back.
We're already
So,
down one scientist.
It's
This
all right.
mission's
I was
not going
prepared for
great.
this. I was prepared for this. It's like, okay, you begin to walk around and handle this, and Dr. Conway simply stops responding on comms.
No, no, no. I think Jenkins is a magical keyboard wizard.
Okay, so activating your scanning tool. Tell me exactly what you're trying to accomplish with your instrument. Can
You're
anybody
muted.
hear him?
No, he's muted.
I muted myself because I'm dumb. I literally muted it right before I started to talk. I'm going to use the little heads-up display inside there to like relay map information. I don't know if our suits can communicate, but whatever. I'm just basically going to take the Pathfinder tool up and set it up like I did in the launch bay, but this time I'm going to send out like a full pulse to get a map readout on my HUD.
Okay, getting a sonar map of your surrounding area.
And I'm going to do the, like when you take a drink of something that's like either like really bitter or really sour, and you kind of do the weird like shiver.
The
That's
wiggle.
that's the effect that I predict this having on everyone.
All right. So, fortunately, all of your suit systems seem to be responding remarkably well. The eye tracking is doing fantastic, and in truth, it's kind of a scientist's dream being inside one of these suits. You can bring up information and descend different types of menus and tabs and readouts and all manner of stuff from your heads-up display. And so telling it to attach to your mapping tool, your sonar, is the simple matter of almost just thinking it and performing the right eye actions. As you begin to map out the area, you can get a general topography, like a topographical layout of your surrounding area with relative ease. But you can also kind of tune the machine to see if you can get a depth reading and maybe bounce it off some hollow spaces. But it will require you to push your machine's function.
Ooh.
Let's
You
do
gonna do
it. Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead and give me. I'll leave this up to you. It'll either be a prepare plus tool or a study plus tool.
Which one's study under?
Okay, so study is actually a think skill. It's a
Think
particular
skill.
kind of action.
Okay, so I have a D8
So
on
the
that.
prepare is also make on that one. But okay, gonna attempt a study.
Yeah. So I draw my card, right?
Indeed. So what you'll do is you'll draw 2 cards. Turn them face up. Go ahead and show them to the camera for our viewers. All right, so we got us
3
a
of
3
diamonds and a 6 of clubs.
and a 6. Fantastic. So you're obviously going to be rocking your think, which you said was a D8.
D8.
And your tool, I believe, starts at a D10. And so a 9 will get you a resounding success. Or you can attempt to beat either of the cards individually. So
Now, do I roll an 8 and a 10?
yes, you do.
Okay.
And actually, I misspoke. It's not a 9. You don't add the cards together. You need a 7. No. Yeah, it's 9. Was I right?
No, I got a 6 and a 3, so I need a 7.
Yeah, you need a 7.
Which I threw one on the floor, so if you'll pardon
Fun
me.
times for everybody.
Yeah, let me pick that bad boy up. My dice rolling space is very limited.
That's what she said.
Giggity. I don't know if you guys are gonna be able to see that with my light being so bright, but that is a 9.
That's
Beautiful.
We
Just got it
believe
on
you.
the D10 alone.
Well, my other one was a 1 on the D8, so let's go ahead and go with that. Go ahead and go with that D10.
All right, so now that we've made our first skill check, relax. What you're going to want to do is you now have to reduce your skill that you used by 1 die set.
Yes.
And reduce your capability for your tool by 1 die. as it's continuing to draw its power and beginning to degrade. Now, as a reminder to everybody, at any point, even during combat or stressful situations, your character may take a deep breath. Take a moment for yourself, reinitialize your systems, calm down. This will let you reset your skills back to their starting values. But every time you do, it adds a complication to the scene.
I think I'm okay for right now to drive on for a
Okay.
little bit.
Now, since you've succeeded, you get to pick up any cards that you beat and add them to your hand.
Can I pick up both?
Indeed, you can. That's why you needed
Uh-huh.
the 7.
I
Yeah.
pick up both.
So now those cards will act as two different things. That is your current XP, as well as being your suit's data and power that it can use for different kinds of actions. Most notably,
Nice.
the repair, 3D printer, boost, radio, the observatory, and sensor deployment abilities.
Okay. Yeah, I'm looking
Additionally,
I'm looking at the systems.
as a reminder for everybody, if you manage to collect 8 cards, that's enough data for your suit to get an upgrade. It will initialize and recollate all that data into a better understanding, and effectively you get to gain 1 stress capacity. You clear all your stress, you reset your skills, and you get to increase a skills max rating by 1 set. So, now for your
Ooh.
findings. You send out a pulse from your mapmaker's tool, your what's called a Pathfinder tool.
Pathfinder tool.
Those of you that are working on the anchors, you can feel this energy hit your suit. You actually get a little alert pop up on your HUD. And it says sonar disturbance instability. And you can feel it in your bones. It's that kind of almost like goosebumps that reach your teeth, an itch that's inside you as it passes over you.
So he did this before when we were in the warehouse, so we would have an idea of that happening so we don't go crazy, right?
Indeed.
Okay, good. Just making sure.
Now, and in fact, you suffered a lot worse from it in the warehouse because many of you took
I
the
had
blunt.
nowhere to.
Yeah.
You weren't in a fancy suit yet.
Yeah. So, just as you're getting your readbacks and they're beginning to pop on your HUD, you can hear the small pulsing ping of the laser cutter and a twisting of metal. It's 2 of the anchors actually are cut loose by your teammates. You were told they were going to do this. For those of you, as you get those anchors cut loose, you actually watch the pod twist as if it's already tense. It already wants to go up. And you can hear that rippling metallic ping up the cable.
It'll be fine.
I need a fast getaway.
All right. Relax. You get your readings back from your sonar deployment. You and your team are actually standing on a shelf. It's about 30 meters thick. It's very stable. And it appears to be a broken fragment of mantle that has either fallen way deep in or reset itself. The good news is you can tell why Mission Control selected this as a landing zone. The bad news is it's kind of by itself. It's a few hundred meters long and is a shelf well above where everything else is going on. And so picture it kind of like, you jumped off a cliff and you made it 3/4 of the way down, and now you're stuck on a little outcropping. Additionally, as you watch the returns come back, your suit begins to pick up on something strange about this area. Firstly, you get synthetic mineral readouts from your nearby area. And you start to see that it's returning on objects that are in midair and then counting them as an error or an anomaly and disregarding the data. And this happens over and over again on the returns. And you start to realize that all around you, your machine is picking up on a solid mass of matter that simply disappears. And it counts it as, oh wait, I must have misread that. That's an error in the code. But it happens over and over and over again.
Good news. There's potentially flying critters in our vicinity, and or wildly floating and falling debris. So good news. Also, we're a considerable distance away from our next stable landing point, and I don't know how we're gonna get down. We could probably like 3D print maybe parachutes and go down. I feel like that wouldn't take up too much filament. Eric's just
What
gonna
about just
jump.
like a cable? Like, do we have like grappling equipment?
Are the other pods here on this shelf?
Yeah, can we steal their cables?
Now
So
we're
I'm going to return
feeding.
your attention
Yes!
back to the synthetic returns earlier. And as this curiosity piques you, you begin to look around for the other pods. And you could only guess, but that synthetic reading could very well be the remnants of previous expeditions now buried in whatever this silty mud from the rain is.
So
Excellent.
So, like, are there cables available?
Yeah, I'm gonna use my laser cutter. We're gonna get some cables.
All right.
Let's go check out the anomalies, guys. I'm, again, just happily writing things down with my poorly made pen.
I forgot
Your
about the poorly
oversized
made
crayon.
Yeah.
Correcto.
I again, just no, like, trepidation or fear or whatever. They wouldn't send a scientist to do anything particularly dangerous.
Yeah, they
Oh,
would.
on the subject
That's why
of,
they got me out of prison.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm gonna skippity-doo down my way towards wherever these anomalies are.
So while you do that, I'll get cables so we can go down.
Well, that's what the anomalies are, is
Teamwork.
the synthetic materials.
all right. So, sure enough, it doesn't take you long to uncover them. You can find
Excellent.
remnants left behind from the previous expeditions. Mostly what you find are the L-shaped anchors that have been released under procedure, not doing you just a lot of good. But one of the larger piles of debris that you assumed was one of the larger stones is actually a bizarre, crumpled form of one of the previous pods, now covered in about a centimeter of just silt debris, making it kind of blend into the environment.
Do you think they're okay? I'm not that kind of doctor.
As you get up and begin to examine it, it does not take you long to discover that this section here does indeed have a considerable amount of cable still remaining. In fact, there are probably about 300 it's about 300 meters of 6-inch thick cable that leads from it over to the edge of the overhang. And from
We
your
may-
best
We may not
guess,
have to cut anything. It may just go straight down to the next ledge. I checked my
You're gonna
map.
okay, you bring up your display, and you can kind of see where this cable is on your display. It looks like a vein of ore or similar material on the cliff's edge underneath you. But what it is, it's about 200 kilometers of cable that was severed and is now just hanging down into the depths below.
That's what we're looking for.
Yeah,
Now-
so I'm gonna grab some of that people stuff though that's on the ground. And I wanna like study it later.
Now,
Scoop up
McSwiftly.
what remains of the
Since you're
scientist.
since
I'm a
you're taking a closer
microbiologist.
look,
I would be into it.
not only can you absolutely gain a sample of the bizarre material left behind at the other pod, you make one other interesting discovery. As you're examining the remains of the old pod, you can see signs where it was significantly damaged. It's not like the one that you saw that seemed to implode. This one seems to have actually taken some kind of blunt trauma to the device. And as you're examining the remnants, you can see whole sections of it that are going transparent. They are,
That means see-through, right?
yes.
Okay.
And as you go to examine it, these areas of, it's centimeters thick armor plating that you can kind of see through now, and it carries that dull gray color that you would expect. But even the areas that were painted, the warning labels, the stripes, the red, has also begun to lose its opacity. And as you touch it, yields underneath you like jello. And it parts almost like it's almost the consistency of hot glue. And it takes no effort at all for you to just stick your finger in what appears to be liquefying steel.
Okay, so very important. I also get a sample of that,
You
but
got it.
I want to Can I tell, are all of the pods going like that? Like, does it seem like the longer they're there, the more they become like? Is this rain like eating through the pods?
Given what you looked at with the pod, the most intact pod that you found, you don't believe it's the rain, primarily because of the inconsistency on the pod itself. It's only sections of that pod at a time that are doing it, but it's far from random. You can see it's distinct sections of the pod, almost as if you were looking at a dissected slice of it over and over again. You do not see any remnants of this phenomenon on your pod.
I'm
Okay,
gonna give this. I'm gonna
so-
give this cable like a solid tug.
Okay.
And
it
they're
entered
smarter
good?
scientists than me, so I let both of them know all that stuff in case they took something from your conversation that I should know but don't actually know. But I definitely take samples of the pod itself and the people goo. And if my suit can run any tests on it while we're still moving, I would take the opportunity to do that and make sure it's really people goo and pod goo.
All right. Dr. Relax.
I want to launch my little exploratory drone.
Very well. All right. The Beeble-Bop exploratory drone.
Yes,
His Pokemon.
I beep the boops.
Beep the boops. So your drone actually comes out of a nesting recharge on the back of your suit. And there's a small hiss inside your helmet as it does so. It's almost electrical. It's that kind of pop hiss that you get when you unplug a really poor surge protector, right? It's that little spark of energy. And you watch this spider-like orb drone pulls itself out, goes up to the shoulder, and you can see a new little bar pops up and it says syncing data with drone. And it gives you an input number. And it gives you kind of a basic readout of the drone, what it has on board, how much weight it's carrying, the atmospherics, as well as its structural integrity. Now,
I'm gonna ignore all of those readouts and just send it down the cable, and have it basically ping me back.
For any goo
Like-
spots.
Yeah, the integrity of the cable the whole way down.
okay, so you can absolutely do that. If you're going to do the entirety of the cable, it is going to be a
Sorry,
considerable
to
time sink.
the next shelf.
Oh, okay.
Shelf down.
All right. For the sake of brevity, you send down your little robot, and it's an orb with magnetic little spider legs and two little arms with sampling tools that comes out. And as you give it the instruction, it kind of turns to you, and you can tell that the singular camera eye on it, and you can see its point of view in a little window on your HUD, regards you with what you could swear was fear and trepidation. But then it clatters down the outside
Yeah, I
of
don't
your
give a
suit
shit
to
about
the
your
cable.
nerds. You're not even alive. Go down. You're a tool. You don't get to backtalk me. Chauncey.
Can't wait for the AI to rise up against you.
All right, so the cable does indeed descend quite a bit, but the readouts that you get back from your drone are a little more alarming. So you can take the cable. You have enough climbing and like gear on your suit's readiness to be able to attach to the cable and descend a considerable distance. What your drone discovers actually is that those little readouts you were getting back appear to be chunks of rock, just chunks of earth that are floating in the chasm. And as you look at the readouts, you can tell that some of them are actually chunks from the surface that you could swear have organic matter on them, like vegetation, that are either stuck in place or slowly spinning. And every once in a while, they just kind of phase out. They just ripple out and disappear. Then a few minutes later, they return.
So it's like a video game when you jump from platform to platform and they go away.
That
I got this.
that is indeed the appearance, the assumption of the thing.
There's nothing to worry about. It's fine. Let's just head down this cable, guys.
Yeah.
Now the fortunate news is, unlike Dr. McSwiftly's comparison to a video game, you simply have a cable that goes down. But yeah, it's a little weird.
Are there
Little
any rocks
gravitational.
in the pathway of the cable?
So far, the drone has not returned any debris in the pathway of the cable.
Okay.
I just slide down it.
Gonna connect and slide down?
That's what I was about to do, was just connect and then go down.
All
Yeah.
right.
I'll try not
I'm
hit
going
the
to
drone on
wait
the way.
until both of them are at the bottom so we don't strain the capacity of this cable
I
with our
tugged on
big
it.
ass
It's
mech
fine.
suits.
It's fine. You're
Yeah.
worrying about nothing.
Yeah.
My drone will catch me if I fall.
Oh,
Ah.
bold.
Yeah, I'll be like,
He's
help
just
me,
down there
Boots,
with his
and
little
then we'll
claw
both
arm.
just like
Just completely
all
flatten
this
him.
crab.
Yeah, so I'm gonna wait for both of them to get down there, and then I'm gonna go just in case.
I named my drone Achu.
Nice.
I like the name.
If I'd have known it had little crab legs and little pincher arms, I would have named it Dr. Z.
So it doesn't take long for you to initiate your climbing gear out of your suit. It's effectively a lot of zip cable and carabiners and anchors. Additionally, your suit does have a lot of magnetic capability. And so, one after another, you attach to the cable and begin to slide down. You actually have a surprising amount of control as you do so. You can control your rate of descent. You can kind of control your orientation better than you expected. The unsettling thing is that as two of you are on the cable now, you're getting a distinct sway. And
Fine.
Suckers.
I wouldn't worry about it.
I start singing the Ghostbuster theme song as I'm sliding down.
all
I
right,
don't like
Sing.
that you're rolling dice. I can hear you. I'm
Don't-
so glad
don't
I'm
worry
up
about
on this
that.
platform.
My suit already took damage. Just throwing that out there.
That's
all right,
true.
Dr. Conway. Well, two
Yeah.
of your teammates are descending, and you're waiting for
I
them to
cut
reach the
the
bottom
cable.
to continue. And you cut the cable, having them
Sure.
fall to their
Right.
deaths.
Well, yeah.
I am the one who created the black hole.
So it looks like Clark's the big bad evil guy. Good to know.
I'd like to ask your character for some speculation.
Okay.
Since you have not a lot to do but observe the bizarre anomalies, even at this first moment, and wait for your teammates to get to the bottom, you become distinctly aware that your team is composed of a chemist, an anthropologist, and a microbiologist. Now, what do you think the previous teams might have encountered to necessitate those three specialties?
My guess is we're going to run into a subspecies that has some kind of strain of, I'm going to say like a virus or genetic coding that allows them to probably manipulate the planet's atmosphere, given like what we have, in that they can change maybe like compounds or something chemical in the earth that now causes a gravitational shift. Like, let's say they change the makeup of the metals in the earth, so now that we're no longer like pulling in gravitational wise, some of the matter of earth is now pushing outward, so they've changed like that's my vibe guess.
Interesting.
Or
Okay.
somebody just haphazardly put our team together and said yeet.
They're all science people.
Yeah,
Go do science.
like, science is all the same.
Yeah,
Okay.
given the fact that there's an anthropologist on the team,
Yeah.
whatever is causing this is based on some type of intelligent design. This is not accidental. Whatever is happening, this was done with intent.
All right.
Yeah.
It takes a little bit of time, but Dr. Relax, Dr. McSwiftly, you both reach effectively the bottom of the cable. As you've descended, you've watched the area that Mission Control refers to as fracture opening grow more and more bizarre. Not only is gravity appearing to be a little funky with the floating rocks and debris, but you've actually watched it happen in real time, where the swaying of the cable has cut sections of the cliff above you and had it start kind of raining down and falling down on you. These heavy chunks ringing off of your dome. And then you've watched them bounce off and simply stay floating out into the chasm. And yet there's enough gravity working on you to have you to continue to descend.
If I grab a handful of material, like say as we're sliding down, and just throw it, does it still affected by gravity, or does it go weightless?
Assuming that you do this pretty quickly, because remember you were on an outcropping, and so
Yeah.
you're actually in free float right now. It doesn't seem to be consistent. So let's assume you just grab a handful of dirt and chunk it out.
Yeah.
Some of it will keep going, almost as if you threw a handful of dirt into a stream, right? You're watching the discoloration go out. Some of it acts exactly as you expect. It turns into kind of a misted cloud, and then the larger chunks drop into the chasm beneath you.
Interesting. Neat. If only I was a helpful scientist in this matter, and then I just continue my descent.
Yeah, y'all do not have a geologist with you.
I definitely yell up once we touch down that it's safe.
All right.
As I
You
carry
begin
my
my
laser
descent.
cutter for
You
self-defense.
bring your laser cutter out to the front. It's 3 long arms already glowing with activation. And you begin to look around at the fracture opening. The indications that you got from the floating material above you really summarize what you are now observing deep within the fracture. The area is under a thick rain, but the rain is no longer that mild mist that you were getting, that condensation falling down on you from above. Now it's thick. It's a viscous material that falls down in small globules around you. And every time you go to take a step, you can see the stringing tendrils of the material stretch. Yes, Dr. Relax.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Claire.
Dr. Conway.
Oh, can I take a sample of this and run it through my chemist test to see what this goopy rain is?
Absolutely.
Because I am going to put money on the fact that it's actually just disintegrated matter, much like what I forgot what Eric's name is already.
McSwiftly.
Unimportant, I guess.
I can remember every detail, garbage with names. So Mick Swiftly, I'm assuming the chemical compound of what I'm going to find is very similar to the sample that he took from Goopy Ship.
Okay.
The goopy
Go
pod
ahead.
or the goopy people?
Let's
Goopy
go ahead and
pod.
see if you pick anything up here.
All
We're
right.
going to make this a study action. So it'll need to be think plus skill, but since you're using
Fuck yeah,
your
it is.
kit, you can use your tool instead.
I mean, both of them are D10s for me, so. Okay. I have a 2 and a 5, and if you're wondering, yes, this is a Destiny deck of cards.
You can
I'm
just
not
mail that
even
to me.
remotely
It's okay.
jealous. Yeah. Wait, how do we get those? How
It
do
was
us
in the
Pavels get Destiny cards?
It was in the store at one point. I don't know if they still sell them, but they do like a garage sale every year, and all of the proceeds go to charity, and they just sell off like old stuff. So I think I paid like $3 for them. I was like, fuck yeah!
That's so
Nice.
cool.
All
I
right.
should be
Us
getting my
peasants
deck of
can't get
whispers
that.
soon. Very excited.
Ooh, 6. So I beat both of them with my D10. So then this goes now to a D8. I almost said
Correct.
D9, and I was
D8,
like,
yeah,
that
there's not a
doesn't
D9.
exist. Okay, so now D8. Okay, so I get to claim both of these cards as mine?
Indeed you do. Now,
Wonderful.
interestingly enough, you get to make our first special action here.
This feels horrible.
Now, what you discover is that it is indeed liquefied material, but not liquefied in the way that you expected. It's not being decomposed. It's not having broken atoms. It's not having anything wrong with it. What you discover is that all the carbon is being exchanged for silicate. It's as if something is literally transforming on a molecular level.
Somebody's
Something
stealing all our
new.
carbon.
Now, what you can do with this information, since you made your check, is I am going to roll a fancy check here. 2d6. You get to answer this question for the canon of the
Oh.
game. You have learned something interesting about your environment on your way to the portal. Is the portal of natural or artificial origin, and how does this information reinforce your knowledge?
I have a theory of what I think is happening, so I'm gonna say it's of artificial origin. Somebody is here to steal our carbon because our planet is mostly carbon based. Like I think somebody's here to nom our carbon, and maybe they have a plethora of silicone on their planet. So I'm going to say artificial in origin. And how that impacts us is we now know that we're dealing with something externally to our planet and potentially solar system. Like before, it could have just been like some weird anomaly, but now we know it's something that's like happening to us. It's not just like the Big Bang where it just happened.
All right. Dr. Relax. With the findings of Dr. Conway, do you agree or do you refute and expand?
I concur. The only reason they send me
You
down
agree?
here is because I have potentially already found a link between surface contact and whatever cultural shift is or cultural group is affecting this change. And so I'm going
It's
to be
no
writing.
minors.
Yeah, I'm going to be writing that down in my notebook with my shittily 3D printed pen.
All right. And Dr. McSwiftly, do you agree or do you refute and expand?
So I didn't get into detail. Like, if I run checks on the two goo things I have, does the goo like, if you want me to roll, I will, obviously. But the goo from the pod, is it the same makeup as what she's got from the thing? Is that what we came to a conclusion with?
So that has not been checked yet, but as you do so, yes, that appears to be accurate. And it is not bonding well with the other elements like carbon would.
Yeah, so I mean, I'll agree, and I tell them my findings with
All
goo
right.
stuff.
Y'all's team portal skill has been raised from a D0 to a D4.
Is that good?
That is good. That means you're
Oh,
gaining
okay.
a higher understanding
I was
of
like,
what the portal is doing.
It's like positive, negative.
Is he so
Just like
good?
golf.
Ting. Okay, so now a lot of this is going to happen in kind of rapid succession. You are currently on level 1, the fracture opening. You have made a discovery that you feel like is important to your understanding of the portal. You can choose to continue to search level 1 for additional clues, or you may continue deeper within the fracture, moving into level 2. Oh, I got questions from everybody. All right. Let's go around a circle. Clark, you first.
What is our current communications with Dr. Knight like?
Current communications are wildly inconsistent. So far, you are getting good telemetric readings on your suit
Okay.
from Mission Control, but no vocal radio has been consistent. You
I
can
would
attempt
like
to
to-
radio Mission Control if you like.
I would like to just attempt to start sending up a message where it's just like planet losing carbon, swapping for silicone or silica.
Okay, so basically a relay, a check-in.
Yeah, just kind
Mission
of like
update.
a boop. This is what we
Yeah.
found because Dr. Knight was very adamant that like nobody sent back any kind of good data. So like if we're dying on this rock, we might as well send back something.
There you
I'm
go.
not dying.
I get to study an alien species. Whatever
I
happens
get to
me is a
zap
win.
one.
I didn't say we weren't going to die happy, okay?
I'm not dying. Obviously, you haven't seen Aliens. I'm living with my laser cutter.
Dr.
Me-
McSwiftly gets a chance to wipe out a new alien species with some germ, so
Yeah,
he's
some
super
germ.
happy.
I'm thinking super weapon with this goo stuff. Before I make a decision about what I want to do, though, I would like to know, is that other goo, was that like a person at one point, or is it another, like, what exactly was it?
So it's difficult to determine because you are seeing a lot of, silicon in the mix, which might be interfering with a lot of the readouts for your computer. But your best guess is that it was indeed an organic being of some kind. And given that you've now spent a little over an hour in this area and seen no remnants of anything that would be like this, other than some mushrooms and some small amounts of vegetation at a distance, you would feel safe in assuming that it was people goo.
Okay, so I throw it at Clark and I go, people!
It's
I'm just
made
gonna
out of
turn-
people.
Yeah, it's
Human
ha
bean
ha ha.
juice.
Clark bars, also made out of people. I'm just gonna turn around and like flip him off and then wipe it off my suit because we haven't confirmed whether or not like touching it. I want to clean my suit to make sure that it's no longer. I want to like iodize it and just like murder every trace of it because we haven't confirmed if that's how they go about stealing it is throwing it on other people, Dr. McSwiftly.
That's fair.
And then I'm going to
Yeah,
call him a butthead.
Yeah, but now I know because it would have started eating through your suit right away.
You
So
don't
now
know that?
we know it doesn't.
You have not confirmed the
Well,
rate
okay,
of
did it
transfer.
start eating her suit when I threw it on her and said, people? Is there suit damage?
No,
In
'cause I burned it
the
off so fast.
moments that followed the impact, no, there doesn't appear to be suit damage.
See? So we know it's not quick.
It's also not
Murder.
particularly slow because these other teams have not been down here particularly long.
Yeah.
However, I'm going to do something actually useful to the group, Dr. McSwiftly, and I'm
How
going
is
to
it
link
not-
up my drone to my mapping device.
Ah, okay. That's a simple enough process.
That was useful. If
And
we
then
get the
I'm
goo
gonna
on us,
send-
we know we got time to clean ourselves.
I'm going to send my little drone out and just have it do intermittent pings so we can get a map going down to level 2. I'm not going to send it too terribly far ahead, but just far enough to where we can get basically real-time readings with enough advance notice to adjust.
Okay. That sounds like to me that Dr. Relax is taking on a leader position in order to get to level 2. Team going with him?
Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
Excellent.
Now that you're out
Dr.
here.
Relax. Go ahead and roll me a dash plus tool check. Your I keep wanting to call it cartography tools. That's not it.
Pathfinder
Your
tool.
Pathfinder.
Pathfinder.
Pathfinder tool.
How many
Dash
cards do I
plus
draw?
Pathfinder. Just the 2.
Okay. Oh shit.
All right.
Queen
so
and
to
a
get
jack.
to level Queen Jack. So here's as a reminder, this is your attempt to get to level 2. Each card you fail will add complication to the scene.
Do I get to add my 2 dice together?
You do indeed.
Okay. Oh, so
Um,
tight.
And remember, this is tiered. So if you beat the Jack but don't beat the Queen, then you'll get like a partial. If you beat them both, fantastic. If you fail them both, bad stuff. Show me what you got.
My suit was damaged when I failed. Just saying.
I got a 7, so that's a 4 and a 3.
Okay, so that fails both cards.
Ouch. Do I keep these cards or do they go into the discard?
They go into discard. You only keep the ones that you beat. All right, let's check our part 2 timer here.
Ooh.
Indeed. Okay. So
Also, I can
obviously,
no longer dash because my dash was a D4. So
I believe D4 is as low as it can get. I think you
That's as low as
hit
it can
minimum
get,
of D4.
Yeah. D4 is the lowest.
can I spend stress to like improve my rolls?
So you can do 2 different things. You can attempt to boost, which is you discard 2 suited cards in
I
order
have 2 suited cards.
All right. You can also choose to overclock. Now, overclocking is once per deep breath, you can push yourself or your suit's limitations when performing an action, and you get to roll a d12 instead of your normal die. If the outcome is okay or bad, you reduce the max die size of the skill 1 step, reduce its current die match, and you get to mark 2 stress. However, it does give you d12 instead of a d4.
I'm doing it.
Okay,
Let's roll this D12. So I get to reroll with a 12 and an 8, right?
correct.
Don't mess this up.
Oh, fantastic. There's an 8 and an 11 can see right there.
All right. That is a
So that's
19,
a 19.
which will pick up both of your cards.
Yes.
And that changes the narrative some. Okay, so since you defeated your check, you can easily find your way to the next sector, and each scientist clears 2 stress and resets all of their skills to the maximum die.
Yeah.
Additionally, you don't suffer the stress from your overclock, and we get to do a little narrative add here. So I'm going to start with Dr. Conway. Other than your primary discovery of the carbon to silicon transfer, you get to add 1 detail of discovery to the first level. What's something else your character discovered in transit?
Rate of exchange.
Yeah, I think that was gonna be my how. Actually, no. What causes? Can we figure out what causes the transfer? Like, what
You tell me.
initiates it? Is it? Oh shit! I don't like that. All right, because Eric is a pill, I'm gonna say like touching the silica for a decent amount of time seems to begin the transfer, but what we can't figure out is how it's sending the carbon away. Like it seems that if you get goo on you, goo starts to like your carbon starts to leach out and be replaced, but we can't figure out how the carbon is then because you can't create or destroy matter. So we
exchanged.
yeah, so like where is the carbon going? It's not just going into the ether, or is it? So like how yeah, okay. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm going on a long-winded tangent. We're figuring out that if you touch the goo, it starts to transfer your carbon, but we haven't figured out where the carbon is going.
Okay, excellent. Next, Dr. Relax. You also get to make a discovery while in transit.
Non-natural formations. So like something that's obviously been design built. I was going to say man-made, but it may not necessarily be Homo sapien in construction. So we're going to discover
artificial
some type of
remnants.
artificial construction or artificial design while moving on. And I'm going to begin the process of transcribing any type of writing, graffiti, and or debris into various other languages that I have both discovered and know. So again, writing furiously in my little pad.
Excellent. And lastly, Dr. McSwiftly. Your character will also make an interesting observation or discovery while in transit. This could be as simple or complex as you like.
I could jump really high.
Which we can translate
Gravitational
to gravitational anomaly. There we go.
Yeah, fancy
All right.
words. I can jump high.
So that's what we discovered at the opening. The carbon is being stolen. That's the understanding as it is. It's being either transformed or sent away. Gravity is fluctuating wildly, and there appears to be the remnants of an artificial construction. Now, it takes you 26 days to get from fracture opening to level 2.
Oh, also, I'm going to be like constantly sending pictures. I'm going to use my suit to capture images of the structures I found and any end like writings, and then sending them back via like data transmission. So not like open comms telling them about them, but just sending data packets back.
All right,
like,
trying to do a compressed transfer.
Yeah, just nonstop. It's just gonna be like send, send, send.
You got it.
And then I'm not going to shut the fuck up for 26 days about finding constructed material down here.
Level 2. As we kind of come up on our tail end here, level 1's fracture opening was quite a revelation to you and your team. You can find a lot of bizarre anomalies in the course, and you've cataloged these. But ultimately, it very much felt like you were traveling through a cave. You felt like you were underground. As you clamber up onto the next section to continue to descend, You and your team have grown more and more anxious because Dr. Relax, your drone, has been reporting back an expansive hollow space. A massive underground bubble of some kind, hundreds of kilometers wide. You clamber up to a crack, so to speak, in the wall that your drone found, leading you to this area and get your first glimpse at it. And as you do so, you look out at a vast underground chamber that is brightly illuminated in greens and cyans, showing a towering metropolitan city complex of bizarre material and architecture. Yes, Dr. Relax.
I'm going to shout, I fucking knew it. And then I'm going to happily, like, shake my compatriots and then show them that I was right, like, physically.
That there's
Any
aliens?
response?
Yeah.
It certainly
I was
seems
right
that
all
way.
along.
That's why I got this. And I shake the laser cutter.
Dr. Conway?
I'm just gonna pat Dr. Relax on the head and be like, "Yep, you did it, buddy."
All right.
Not because like I've agreed with him this entire time that I don't think that this was a natural phenomenon.
So before you kick us from this or whatever we're doing next, real quick, in regards to like how we're trying to figure out where the carbon and everything is going, is there any way to see if it's like almost like being vacuumed towards this? Like, is it in the air in a sense? Like, are we able to run something? I'm not the smartest scientist of scientisty thingies, but is there a way to see if like,
You want to see if the air has a high
Yeah.
carbon concentrate?
yeah, that's a better fancy way to put it. I just want to know if carbon's being sucked into it like a fucking vacuum. That's the easy people way to say it. Am I able to test the air?
Is someone hoovering the carbon?
Correct.
So
Is
let
it
me
just
pose this to you and your team. You know the equipment you have. You know the capabilities of your suit. Is there a way to follow up?
Our suits
bet it-
have an air filter. We could probably get a readout of what's been pulled into it.
Yeah, like some kind of dust filter.
We could also pop our little tent things, and you can use your.
So I
'cause
will
don't you-
clarify
don't you have
one
a
thing.
like a chemistry set where we can.
Yeah, I was thinking I could. Chemistry sets usually don't do great with gases, but there's got to be something in there, right?
But I mean, we've been using a filter, like a filtration system. We could probably
That's
pull one
true.
of the filters
The
out.
sediments from the filters.
Mhm.
Yep. We can do
So
that.
bear in mind that your suit's environment systems and the filters are closed systems. They don't filter from the outside.
All right, so we go and we
Oh.
pull off Dr. Relax's filter. Can I just like scoop a jar of air? Because I'm assuming I can either like compress it.
I have an idea.
Oh, I could put water in it and just see what it is.
how
Our
hard would it be to
drones
take
have
my
to have some
helmet
type
off?
of engine, right? Like they have to work from something. Like they have to have some
Yeah,
type
they have
of motor.
motivators. So yes.
We have a 3D printer too.
So we have a drone that obviously has some type of motor. It has to have some type of cooling unit, which means that there's a fan. Wherever fans are, dust collects. We can pop open my drone that's been running around this whole time for 26 days and check and see what type of carbon it has taken in inside its like cooling fan.
I'm just gonna add water to my jar.
Is that what you want to try?
yeah,
Can
we're
we
doing
both
it.
do it? And then I
Absolutely.
don't know what Dr. Relax is doing.
I'm Dr.
Shooting
Relax. I'm
things.
taking the.
I'm sorry, Mick Swiftly.
Yeah.
I'm throwing my drone and I'm saying, I choose you, I choose.
You
Rocks
did
fall,
this
you all
so that
die.
we can't just immediately kick you.
Okay. Now that'll be a good one. So y'all
I
are
have a good
stepping
idea.
down into the streets of a massive underground city and taking your first attempts to try to understand exactly where the carbon is going. So let's start with Conway. You're filling your jar with water in order to try to capture atmospheric particulates for study, correct?
Yep.
Go ahead and give me a...
Ooh. Got lucky on my first two cards. I got a king and a jack.
yeah, that was kind of like mine with
Yeah.
the Jack Queen combo. You should do the push thing where you get the D12. That shit's handy.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm fighting.
Give me a think dash check.
Can I push myself to get my D20?
You can overclock to a D12.
Boo. Okay, I gotta find it. I don't think I have a D12 in my tiny desk. Oh, yes, I do. Here you are. My the tiny desk. Tiny desk. Shaky.
Now, bear in mind, you get both think and dash to this. So
Okay,
Yeah,
so
you
I get. Oh, so I can also use my D10.
Yes. Yeah, you get to use both dice, and
I don't know why
then add them together.
tiny dice is always so hard for me to find.
Probably because you got big hands. Throw that in there.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I think he just called you ham-handed. That seems a little unfair.
I agree. Okay.
There's
Oh,
nothing
don't
wrong with
forget to
having big
post
hands.
portions where Clark speaks unprompted. That way we don't get the guys like upset that Clark doesn't get to talk.
I got an 11. I think that at least takes care of my Jack. Think.
okay.
Oh, I have to beat it. I can't match it, right?
So if you are greater than or equal to both cards, it's a good outcome.
Greater than
So-
equal to 1.
The king will be a 13. So you pulled Jack Queen. You said
Jack King.
Jack King. So your king's a 13, which
Mhm.
means your Jack is going to be an 11.
And I got an 11.
All right. So you may pick up and add the Jack to your hand. The
Hi.
king goes to your discard pile,
All right.
and you got an okay outcome with a complication.
That feels like my life.
Because it wasn't simple enough.
So, you begin to try to capture particulate matter from the atmosphere. And you are successful.
My
You
jaw
finally get
leaks.
an idea of what's going on. The carbon is indeed present in the atmosphere, but it's encased in this goo. And you're watching the area around you. When I tell you that the atmosphere outside is not breathable, that is an understatement, because it is so filled with tiny, hardening crystalline silicate carry packets packed with carbon, billions of them moving through the air.
Right.
And
Has
they
to happen
do
at least
appear-
once in a while.
they do appear to be moving either under a compulsion or through some manner of mild intelligence, because they're acting almost like a swarm of fish, going deeper and deeper within the fracture. The unfortunate truth is that your water drew their attention. Something about the hydrogen-oxygen combination, something has caused the area around you to become agitated. And as they're getting into the water, you're watching your water begin to bubble as if it's boiling, as millions of little creatures are taking a sample of it and leaving.
I'm not gonna lie to you. That's not a complication. I consider that an additional scientific discovery.
And they got into your suit as you opened it
Fuckers.
for the water. So, Clark, your character is going to suffer 1 stress, as your suit has a malfunction in your water filtration system.
I can sterilize it.
Now, Dr. Relax, you were attempting to disassemble your drone in order
Yes.
to see what it has accumulated on its motor. Now,
Yes.
it doesn't have a fan to speak of. It's running under an electric motivator, but there is still going to be a buildup of particulate matter, especially, and more importantly, under thermal activity, because that engine gets hot. So go ahead and make me a make-break check.
So that's 2d4s. I'll draw my cards here.
Do you want, I mean, I could do it for you. I got better dice for those 2 things.
I got a queen and a 5. Oh no, I'm ready to roll. I'm gonna do this. There's no way I can beat the queen with what I've got, because I'm just gonna be rolling 2d4s. So the queen's a fail.
Can't hear you, Ryan. You're
Ryan,
muted.
I think you're muted.
Oh, I sure am muted. Let me pause real quick. Clark, On your check, your D12, did it replace a dice that was a D4?
No, it replaced a dice that was a D10.
You replaced the D10 with the D12 for your
Yes,
dash
because
check?
I'm an idiot. I forgot
Okay,
to
no,
replace my dash, which was
that's
a
fine.
D8. But
I am just going to remind you to go ahead and degrade the 2 skills that you used by 1 step.
yeah,
All right, so moving back over to Dr. Relax. You rolled a 5 queen. Let's see if you can make breaking.
You could do it. I know you can, buddy.
Yeah. That's a 3. And that's a 3. So I got a 6. So
Again with a complication. All right.
but I now have 5 cards.
Indeed. So you do not get any kind of material sample from your drone. In fact, you're surprised to discover that within your drone, even on the areas that should have been wildly exposed, as it's running through the equivalent of knee-deep goo for itself as y'all are walking down the floor, is remarkably clean, unusually clean. And so you discover that the electric motivator and the radiation, for lack of a better term, the electrical discharge, the magnetism created by it, seems to be keeping this material at bay.
I would like to test a theory.
Okay.
I'm going
you're gonna
to open
fucking
up.
shockwave us all, aren't you?
I sure am. Get the Pathfinder tool out.
All right, Magneto.
All right.
Actually, first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a breath.
Okay. Bear in mind that will add an additional complication.
That's fine.
Okay.
It's not like we're gonna be doing. It's not like this is gonna go much longer. So let's do this thing.
All right. So, obviously, since you only got a good outcome from your initial check, your complication is that your drone is temporarily disabled. And it will need
Hardly
to
relevant.
you'll need to make a think-make check in order to get it back up and running.
That's
Or
not
print
true.
a new one.
Yeah, I was like, I could just make another one.
Additionally, you're taking a breath. That's
Actually,
a secret complication.
I'm gonna have Dr. McSwiftly repair my drone while I test this particular theory.
Okay.
Let's pop out the old Pathfinder tool again.
You got it.
Let's go ahead and dial this Pathfinder tool to 11.
All right, maximum penetration.
I'm going to tell everyone to not look directly at it and to not clench their teeth because there's going to be quite a vibration going through the air here in a moment.
Puts in mouth guard.
Can I ground myself?
And then I'm just going to send out a pulse and see how badly this disorients our little schools of crystalline carbon stealers.
All right, go ahead and make me a break tool check.
We definitely focus on the water and the creatures in the water to see what happens to them when this goes off.
All right, I have an 8 and a 3.
I'm going to stand 10 feet away from him.
I'm going to stand near so I can see the water.
I'm holding the water.
I know. I want to make sure I can see it. I want to see when the ping goes off.
I got an 8 and a 4. Oops, and I'm holding it by my side. So 8 and a 4.
All right, so that'll defeat both of your cards.
Yes.
You can pick both of those up. As you release your ping, the energy
I need
that
one more
rips
card
out
to level up, by the way.
Yeah. The energy that rips out concusses into the atmosphere around you. Now, bear in mind, the particulates that you discovered are incredibly small, bordering on microscopic.
Yeah.
Your pulse at this intensity seems to entirely destroy them, disintegrate. And in that moment, you let loose, and it's a rippling sphere of sudden clear atmosphere, and you find yourself in a rain of ash.
I cleared the environment of the silicate particulates. Now, Dr. Cotter's purge your suit and get rid of all the bullshit. Now's your chance to do a full atmospheric purge.
I'm gonna do an atmosphere purge as
purge?
it rains carbon ash, because I'm assuming the ash is just pure carbon.
All right, do me a favor. This is going to come from my deck. Make
Okay.
me your choice of a make, evade, or break check.
Good news, they're all D4s.
Would you like to overclock?
Do I get to know what card you pulled?
Not yet.
That's not nice.
Do it. It's not it's not like we're coming back to this.
Screw it. I will overclock and give myself a D12. Good news, it's a fucking 4. That looks like a 4.
That is a 6.
That really looks like a 4.
Do you have 2 suited cards in your hand?
I do have 2 diamonds.
So that means that you can perform a boost.
Boost.
I don't know exactly how boosts work. I'm not gonna lie. I'm looking it up presently.
For those of you that don't know, that was from an extremely ecchi anime that Clark and I
It won't.
both just quoted.
It's our
It
favorite
won't help.
slice of
It
life.
only gives a +1.
Oh, is it only a +1?
Oh,
Yeah.
boo.
Yeah, it wouldn't help. So don't waste it.
Yeah,
that's fair. That's fair. Mother trucker.
I got the action sheet
All right.
printed.
Nicely done.
So yeah, it's only
Okay,
+1.
so here's the good news. You do manage to purge quite a bit of the invasive material, but not without significantly damaging your suit and your water filtration system. That's going to translate to an additional 2 stress for your character.
So I could just repair a bunch of stuff before we continue on.
All right. So, how are we doing on episode time, Eric?
We're pretty over.
Yeah,
All right.
we're over.
So we will get back to those repairs if and when we manage to do a part 3 for Substratum Protocol and get to explore the civilization ruins of level 2. All right, guys.
Okay,
let's go
so
ahead and
they're
call it.
ruins?
Yeah, they appear to be
one
ruins.
card
Like they're
away
not
from
perfect.
a level up, which was what I
So
was
close to
shooting
a
for.
system upgrade.
So close.
But yeah, guys, we're going to go ahead and stop it right there. We'll pick it up next chance we get. I hope everybody is enjoying it. And you've got to uncover the first surface clues of what's going on in the fracture.
I won't lie, I'm super impressed with this game.
I'm also really
love this
annoyed
game.
because I realized I'm the only person, like, actually taking
I'm
notes.
taking notes. I wrote look, I wrote it right here. Look.
I wrote the words goo,
I wrote
Got
and
2 pages of notes.
I carved on my suit, go Pats go.
notes.
My power is lower on my suit, and I have people goo and pod liquid in little container. Well, I don't have the people goo anymore. I threw it at you.
All right, I feel
I am
better
impressed
now.
that all 3 of you kept notes. That actually blows my mind. Well done.
We're
but yeah,
scientists, god damn it.
That's kind of fun. If we get to continue, I really think the best part about this game is that I got to create the story. I kind of know what's going on, but it's also very malleable because as you develop more and more clues, you get to change the narrative. And your understanding of the portal is something that you as players get to do. I do hope we get to pick this one up again for a part 3, but I will say this as we get to the close of our episode here. Substratum Protocol is absolutely amazing. I know we were originally kind of brought in to do a product review. This is one that I'm going to be playing just to play because it's amazing now. Like this, I absolutely love this game. And as a reminder for all of our listeners out there, not only can you play it with a group of friends and you get to have the crazy shenanigans like we had tonight, but it's also set up where you can play it with small numbers or even solo if you would like. So it's a lot of fun. Highly encourage you check it out. Substratum Protocol by Pandian Games. Absolutely glorious.
Yeah, so I think we're gonna try to do this monthly.
Fantastic.
Dice.
Just because it'll be a good break in like running regular shows.
Yeah.
So
Indeed.
it'll be something good. And people seem to like when we do TTRPG stuff. Kind of gets our biggest watches and things of that nature. So
You're a TTPRG.
excuse me, we'll probably be doing this at least once a month as long as everybody's here.
Fantastic. I love it.
And with that, next week, just to give you guys a little heads up on what it is, topic is going to be a little bit more sensitive than what we normally talk about. We are going to be talking about substance abuse, just as a heads up, because it is the month of April, and with that is WrestleMania. The theme for the month is going to be pro wrestling. Next week, we're going to be talking about substance abuse, just as a heads up if that's a sensitive topic for you.
Little
you can
triggering.
choose, you can choose to tune in or not. We are going to handle it
Semi-professionally as we can.
like
Yeah.
as professionally as the four of us can in that regard. Obviously, we're not going to be wishing ill will on any of the people that have battled with substance abuse in that regard, but it's definitely a prevalent topic in pro wrestling, and was certainly a very big problem during the height. We'll say the golden age of wrestling was definitely a big problem. But anyway, with that, let's bring this episode to a close. Don't forget, like, follow, and subscribe. We have been crossing the Nerdverse, and we will catch you next time.
See you guys.
Oosh.